Fulfilled prophecies, world empires, according to Daniel chapter 2 and chapter 7, part 2. As already announced in the video Prophecy from the Old Testament, the Basics, this video deals with already fulfilled prophecies given in Daniel chapter 2 and chapter 7 about the world empires. In addition to confirmation by texts in the Bible, the major events were also confirmed historically and archaeologically. The world empires according to Daniel chapter 2 and chapter 7. As already described in part 1, it can generally be said that chapter 2 and chapter 7 in the book of Daniel form a unit. Walter Veit described it as a coloring picture, with Daniel chapter 2 drawing the outline of events, and chapter 7 reflecting the interior, i.e. the details. The four world empires were identified in part 1 as the following: 605 to 539 BC, Babylon; 539 to 331 BC, Medo-Persia; 331 to 168 BC, Greece; and 168 BC to 476 AD, the Roman Empire. After the disintegration of the Western Roman Empire into 10 parts, a new kingdom emerges, the Little Horn. The Little Horn, the fifth world empire. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, Daniel 7:8. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, Daniel 7:24. So after the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, a fifth world empire arises, i.e. this empire must come to power after 476 AD. By studying parallel passages in the Bible, it becomes clear that this little horn in Daniel chapter 7 is also described in other places under different names. King of the North, spiritually speaking, from Daniel 11:31 onwards; man of sin in 2 Thessalonians 2:3; son of perdition, 2 Thessalonians 2:3; beast from the sea, Revelation 13:1-10; Babylon spiritually speaking, Revelation chapter 14-18. The characteristics of this little horn are described in more detail below. All the different characteristics mentioned in the text must apply to the little horn in order to identify it ambiguously. The following section begins with one characteristic of the little horn and looks at which kingdom this applies to, and then checks whether the other characteristics also fit this interpretation. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and think to change laws, Daniel 7:25. So this kingdom rises up against God himself and seeks to change his laws. What laws does God have? It is the 10 Commandments. What does this kingdom do? And think to change laws, Daniel 7:25. Which kingdom comes into question? Since this kingdom will come to power shortly after 476 AD, according to Daniel 7:8 and 7:24, it is necessary to look within this time frame. Was there a kingdom at that time that changed the commandments? Yes, the papacy changed the 10 Commandments of the Bible. Let's take a closer look. To what extent has the papacy changed the 10 Commandments of God? First Commandment. Text of the Bible. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Exodus 20:2-3. Text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. I am the Lord your God. You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. Conclusion. The reference to the God who led out of Egypt is missing in the papacy. Second Commandment. Text from the Bible. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Exodus 20:4-6. The text of the Catechism of the Catholic Church: You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Conclusion: the second commandment was deleted by the papacy and replaced by the third. Third commandment, the text of the Bible: Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Exodus 20:7. The text of the Catechism of the Catholic Church: Remember to keep holy the Sabbath day. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment in the papacy, the fourth commandment of the Bible takes the place of the third. The fourth commandment, text of the Bible: Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all thy work. For the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Exodus 20:8-11. The text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church: Honor your father and your mother. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment in the papacy, the fifth commandment of the Bible takes the place of the fourth. The fifth commandment, text from the Bible: Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Exodus 20:12. The text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church: You shall not kill. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment in the papacy, the sixth commandment of the Bible takes the place of the fifth. Sixth commandment, text from the Bible: Thou shalt not kill. Exodus 20:13. The text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church: You shall not commit adultery. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment in the papacy, the seventh commandment of the Bible takes the place of the sixth. Seventh commandment, text from the Bible: Thou shalt not commit adultery. Exodus 20:14. Text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church: You shall not steal. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment in the papacy, the eighth commandment of the Bible takes the place of the seventh. The eighth commandment, text from the Bible: Thou shalt not steal. Exodus 20:15. Text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church: You shall not be a false witness against your neighbor. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment of the papacy, the ninth commandment of the Bible takes the place of the eighth. Ninth commandment, text from the Bible: Thou shalt not be a false witness against thy neighbor. Exodus 20:16. The text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church: You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment in the papacy, the first part of the 10th commandment of the Bible slips into the place of the 9th. The 10th commandment, text of the Bible: You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that your neighbor has. Exodus 20:17. Text from the Catechism of the Catholic Church: You shall not covet your neighbor's goods. Conclusion: due to the missing second commandment in the papacy, the 10th commandment is divided in two, so that the full number of the 10 commandments is reached again. To summarize, the papacy has deleted the second commandment. As this meant that there were only 9 commandments, the 10th commandment in the Bible was simply divided in two. This fits the characteristic to be tested, and think to change laws. Daniel 7:25. The papacy has indeed tried to change the 10 commandments of God. Since a picture is worth 1,000 words, The next slide shows an overview of how exactly the papacy tried to change the Ten Commandments. Overview: the papacy's attempt to change the Ten Commandments. Summary: yes, the papacy has tried to change the Ten Commandments of God. Conclusion: the papacy could be the little horn of Daniel 7, but there are many other different characteristics mentioned in the Bible that must be equally applicable. Is the papacy even a kingdom, including a king, to be considered a little horn? As we have already seen in the first part, horns refer to kingdoms or kings. The ram which thou sawest, having 2 horns, are the kings of Media and Persia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king, Daniel 8:20-21. The papacy has an elective monarchy as its form of government, i.e., it is de facto a kingdom with an elected king over it. It fulfills the text of Daniel 7:8, which describes it as a horn or kingdom. I considered the horns, and behold, there come up among them another little horn, Daniel 7:8. Conclusion: here too we see that the papacy is suitable for this interpretation. Both of the characteristics examined fit the papacy, which many reformers have identified as the little horn. However, Daniel chapter 7 contains many more characteristics that still need to be examined. Only when all the characteristics of the little horn fit can it be clearly identified. This investigation continues in part 3. Even today, there are many prophecies that are being fulfilled right now before our eyes, and many have longed to see. For verily I say unto you, many prophets and righteous men have desired to see the things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear the things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Matthew 13:17. You too can see and hear the prophecies fulfilling right now before our eyes. For more information, see the video description. Do you listen to God's voice?